Welcome to the fourth episode in our video series. I'm Dr. David Van Nuys, co-author of the book, This is the Zodiac Speaking, Into the Mind of a Serial Killer. Now, previous episodes in this series described two lovers' lane attacks on two different couples. And I'm probably not going to be going into quite as much detail of the facts of the actual killings as I go on here, because last week there was an hour show on America's Most Wanted which covered the facts very well. Also, the Zodiac movie is out now, and I'm actually going to see it later this afternoon. And from what I've seen about the movie, they also cover it factually very well. And plus, you can read our book if you're interested in the facts of the case. And there are lots of websites, too, that cover the events very clearly. For example, zodiackiller.com is a good site to go to. Now, the movie identifies Arthur Lee Allen as the Zodiac. However, I need to let you know that there's far from universal agreement on that point among people who have really studied this case at some length. So, as a result of these other materials that are available, I'm going to dwell less on the facts of the case, and I'm going to focus more on the Zodiac's letters and my psychological analysis of those letters, since that was the reason why I was invited to take part in writing the book. This is the Zodiac Speaking. Now, where we left off, the Zodiac had sent a cipher, that is a cryptogram, a code, to the San Francisco Examiner and the Vallejo Times. Now, in this cipher, the Zodiac threatens to go on a killing rampage if his letter, along with the cipher, is not printed. So right away we can tell that the Zodiac is extremely manipulative. He wants to be able to call the shots. He wants to be able to make authorities, in particular, dance to his tune, as well as the general public. One of the first things that we notice about the cipher is how carefully it's laid out, just physically. It's very neatly done, and it reinforces the impression of technical aptitude. And this was an impression that we first got in one of the letters, in the first letter that we spoke about in a previous episode. It becomes clear that the Zodiac is detail-oriented, that he's technically adept. I imagine that if the Zodiac were around today, he would be much like a computer nerd, maybe somebody who would be like a black hat computer hacker, or somebody deeply involved in role-playing games. That's the kind of personality structure that begins to emerge, which is not to say that all of those people are going to be serial killers, obviously, but it does suggest that the Zodiac is an organized killer. Generally, serial killers, I understand, fall into one of two classes, organized versus disorganized. We see a lot of preparation both for his murders and particularly in the preparation of these cryptograms that he does. And the cryptogram stumped experts in naval intelligence and the CIA. They weren't able to break it. Ironically, it was solved in 2 days by a school teacher and his wife. So once the school teacher, Donald Gene Hardin, solved it while reading it in the San Francisco Chronicle, it was then made publicly available, and here's how it reads after the code is broken. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. To kill something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and those I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for the afterlife. And then there's a sequence of letters after that evidently could not be solved. So what are some of the impressions that I take from, as a psychologist, from this cryptogram? Well, first of all, that there's absolutely no remorse here. This is one cold son of a gun, very psychopathic. We also see the reference to hunting, and in a previous letter that he sent, in my previous video that I made, I speculated that this in fact might be a hunter. And so we see some additional evidence that seems to support that when he talks about hunting man is the best sport of all. And of course, there's a short story that makes that reference, and it may be that he was familiar with that short story. Then I'm struck by the fact that he talks about that hunting and killing people is better than getting your rocks off with a girl. I really question how much experience he has with getting his rocks off with a girl. We see this need to brag, which is part of his whole general pattern. I think he's jealous of couples, and that's why he has killed why he attacked these two different Lover's Lane couples. I think he's intensely jealous of their sexual intimacy. His reference to slaves in the afterlife is very interesting because it feels like a mythological reference, and one has to wonder where he got that idea. And there's been considerable speculation about that, which you can find on the web. For myself, I'm not sure where that came from, but it's very interesting. So what we see here is a lot of grandiosity, and I believe that under that grandiosity serves the purpose of denying underlying feelings of helplessness. He presents himself as very powerful because he's trying to overcome underlying feelings of powerlessness. Now, if you want me to continue with this series, please let me know, because the movie's out there, and I don't know if you're interested or not. Certainly the insights that I'm offering you here do not appear in the movie, and you do get something extra here. But it's a fair amount of work, and I'm not going to keep it up unless I get some encouragement in your comments here on YouTube. But mostly, I'm hoping that if you're interested in psychology at all, that you'll be sure to check out my podcast series, Shrink Wrap Radio. And there's a link at the bottom of the screen. So until next time, with your encouragement,